Hi, it's Lipstick Gal. Thanks so much for watching today. I'm going to do a get ready with me. I would love to know what you're doing right now. I am with my second enormous trough of coffee, and I'm going to put some makeup on. I'm going to do something I haven't done in a while, and I'm going to be using this pore filling primer. This is the Timeless Smoothing Primer from Tarte. I need so little of this product. I've had this jar for forever. I'm starting to worry, is it still good? It still performs the same, so I'm gonna use it till it's gone. But I only use it in certain areas, and I think that's why it lasts me such a long time. I have a lot of large pores right in this area. It's not terribly early in the morning. It's like 9 o'clock. I'm normally up before this, and I was awake. I was just doing other stuff. I managed to make it home about 3 days ago from my friend's house. If you didn't know, I was at a friend's house for about a week. They found out they were sick with a thing. And first the husband went in just for a regular doctor visit, and they're like, let's update one of your vaccines. He's like, sure, no problem. He wasn't having any symptoms. But when they vaccinated him, he didn't make it 15 minutes out because he was asymptomatic. He instantly went into the sweats and was having a hard time seeing, pulls the car over, policeman stops by, they put him in an ambulance and they take him to the hospital. And my friend calls me and I'm like, okay, well, keep me posted, let me know how things are going. If you need anything, please let me know. So the next day she calls me and she said, you know what? The reason he had such a bad reaction, it wasn't just because of the, vaccine update he was getting. It was because he was sick and the vaccine really challenged his immune system when he was already fighting it. She goes, so since he's sick, there's a good chance I'm sick. She tests, she's like, yep, I'm sick. And I was like, how are you feeling? She goes, well, I've been fighting what I thought was like a cold for a week now. She mentioned it mid-week. I was like, I'm not feeling good. I don't know that I'll be able to take care of my husband when he gets home from the hospital. And I was like, I'll be right there. So I jumped on a plane and I was there for a while. And I'm so grateful my husband and my kids understand that, this is just what you do. You take care of the people that you love. And I'm at a place right now where I have the time to do it. And my kids are old enough. They're almost 12 and 14. My husband works from home. He can run the kids to and from school. And we made it work. And so I was able to go and spend some time at my friend's house. Now, I'll tell you, it was one of those things. I'm just gonna keep putting makeup on. I'm gonna do a combo of these. This is the foundation I have been loving. And this one, because it's like almost too light for me. This one's not my shade. I'm hoping it doesn't change the formulation, but I need a little something lighter. So when I was there, thankfully they had a spare bedroom that I could use. I was really worried I was gonna get sick. And I was like, I don't care. I just need to make sure they're okay. Thankfully, I did not. We wore masks the entire time. He started feeling better after a couple of days. His symptoms subsided pretty quickly after his vaccination, but he did spend 2 days in the hospital. My friend was super worried. I was mostly worried about her because every time she gets sick, it ends up in her chest. And I knew that if she was okay, she could probably handle taking care of both of them. But the minute she was having problems breathing and was going to the doctor for, stuff to make breathing easier, I was like, I'm on a plane. And it was a kind of a weird time because every time we're together, the best thing about being together is always having meals together, laughing, catching up on, what's going on in each other's lives and telling stories and just spending time together. We couldn't do that. So we ended up, chatting on the phone and texting a lot. I made the meals and I took it to them in their room. Oh, I forgot my under eye corrector. Put some of that on. Thankfully, they're both on the mend. And I am in my last day of isolating here at home. The CDC recommends that if you've been caring for someone who's sick, that after you are no longer in their presence, that you isolate for 5 days and test. And that's what I'm doing right now. So this is my last day. I'm in my room. My husband moved out. My kids have been missing me. We've been talking to each other from the other side of the door. And anytime I'm in the house, not in this part of the house, like my room and bathroom, we're all wearing masks. So I think we're gonna be okay. I don't have any symptoms, and I'm hoping that my test comes out negative. I've already tested twice while I was visiting them, and both times I was negative. So I feel pretty good about where we are, but you know, I was pretty worried. I haven't mentioned this because I didn't know if it was going to pan out. For the last 7 years, I have not been working. I've been at home, taking care of my family, and the reason I have not been working is my health is not good. If you didn't know, I've had 5 brain surgeries. I've had 14 surgeries overall. I'm one of those people that when I get sick, I get complications which require more surgery. So when I had my gallbladder removed, which is usually just 1 outpatient surgery, it turned into 4 in a 5-day hospital stay. That's how I rack up surgeries real quick, because that's the sort of person I am. I had surgery to fix a problem on my brain, which then turned into bacterial meningitis, a 10-day hospital stay, 2 more brain surgeries after that, and a month of 24/7 IV infusions. If anyone gets sick, it's me. So I have been home. I haven't worked for the past 7 years. My health has not been good. When I was working before, I spent 21 years working in radio, and it was a really fun job. But I don't feel like after my 5 brain surgeries that my verbal skills are at the same pace they would need to be to do radio. One of the things that I noticed after my last round of surgeries in 2017, I guess my last brain surgery was 2020. Anyway, is that in 2017 I noticed that I have gaps in between my thoughts. And when I'm writing, sometimes I will leave an entire word out, but oddly enough, I'll leave the space for the word. So I'll be writing something and keep going, and there will be a space there, and I'm like, what? So I always have to go back and check. I always have to check my emails, my texts, anything I write by hand. My grocery lists are real interesting, and that didn't used to happen before. So I didn't feel like I could go back into radio, because if you're doing entertainment communication, you gotta be like this. And my brain isn't working at that level right now, and I definitely feel like my verbal abilities are diminished. And I don't want to do that. So I was kind of looking for a job. But if you have a degree in communication, like I do, and that's all you've done for 20 years, like I did, and you haven't been working for 7 years because your health has been trash, like me, first of all, nobody wants to hire you. Second of all, nobody knows what you're good at, because people don't understand what it takes to work in radio. They think all you do is press a button, play a song, and talk. And it's much more involved than that. We won't get into that. But the thing is, people didn't understand my capacity for creativity, for presentation, for problem solving, for teaching, because I did all of those things every single day for 21 years. And one day, out of the blue, a friend of mine who knew I'd been looking for a job called me. I'm just going to use some of the Dior powder, no powder. She's like, I have a question for you. I need some extra help in my office. And I was wondering, since you mentioned that you were looking for a job, if you might be interested. And I said, I'm a radio gal. She goes, yeah, but you're smart and you can learn anything. And I was like, well, thank you for the vote of confidence. She goes, I would rather hire somebody who I know what their skills are and who would get along with the people in my office. Because when you hire the wrong person, the whole office dynamic goes off. And she goes, and everybody here at the office knows you and they like you. And I was like, oh, well, that's good to hear. She's like, so you want to try? And I was like, sure. She goes, we'll teach you, don't worry. So I'm starting a new job next week. And thankfully, it's only part-time. I said, look, I would love to jump in with 2 feet. I said, but truthfully, this is where I say I haven't worked in 7 years. I said, you know what my health struggles are. I said, I don't know what stamina I have. And she goes, no, don't worry. I don't need a full-time person. She goes, maybe we could work up to that. She goes, but right now I just need some part-time help. So I'm going to be starting a new job, and I'm kind of excited and I'm a little nervous. Everything is going to change because I have been, picking up my kids, dropping them off at school, at their beck and call, taking them to all of their orthodontist appointments, their fencing, their music lessons, like all of that, they're gonna have to start walking home or grab the bus and then walk from the bus stop, which is not really far from our house. They're like, well, we don't want to get up early enough to take the bus. And I'm like, either way, you gotta walk to school and they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, you guys are 12 and 14. I was walking to school with my brother when we were 6 and 7 by ourselves. I'm like, you will be just fine. I don't know if that's the 80s latchkey kid in me that's like, okay, I know I raised you different than my parents raised me. They raised me that way because they didn't have a choice, and thankfully I had a choice, but you're old enough. You'll be just fine. And my oldest is, oh, I love her. She's a worrywart. She worries about all the things she doesn't know and can't control and happen unexpectedly. I'm just gonna throw on some of the Patrick Ta bronzer. We still haven't figured out what the kids are doing, but we got to figure it out this week. And I know they're going to be fine. And I think they'll like the independence of, you know, walking home or being on the bus. I think right now, just the fact that it's changing, change is always hard. And having mom there to pick you up and you be able to call her at any time in case, you know, you forgot something or you're having a bad day. There was one day where my daughter had something terrible happen to her at school and she called me and I just came to get her, you know, talked to the principal and the counselor, and they're like, let her take the rest of the day. Everything will be fine. We'll have this all sorted by the time she's back. And I won't be able to do that anymore. And I'm sure if something's really bad, I could leave work, or if, you know, my husband could probably go and pick her up and bring her home. But it's hard for me knowing that I'm not going to be available to my kids. And I've been in that position since my youngest started school, since she started kindergarten. So this will be the first time that I'm not available to them. And it's hard for them, but I think it's even more difficult for me. I've been absolutely in love with this blush from M Cosmetics. This is their new Masterpiece collection. This is the shade Baroque. I like how soft it is. I mentioned in a video that I've been trying to wear less intense blush. I don't know if that'll ever stop because I love a good blush and I usually end up in clown territory, but I find that I look more like myself and most attractive when I don't have a real heavy blush. So this shade is so beautiful. I like that it even has a little bit of glow to it. It has a little bit of radiance. It's just fabulous. I'm in desperate need of some eyebrows. I am trying to finish up. I don't know how much I have left of this. This is the Benefit. Oh, that's not a lot. I can work through that. I don't know that I'll finish it before the end of February, but I'm using this today. I have the wrong shade in this. I probably need shade 3.5, but I will make shade 3 work. So I realized that it's not just cheap products I can over apply. I took a look at my brows the other day, halfway through a video as I was editing it, and I was like, what happened? I over apply everything. I do. I'm trying really hard not to, like just enough, not too much, but I would love to know, is there a makeup product that you always find yourself like, too much, stop, you should have stopped like a long time ago. Brow products and cheap products. And I can find myself in the same place with anything, but those are the two. If I'm gonna over apply, it's gonna be blush and highlight and eyebrows. The weather is starting to warm up and it's always that really interesting time of the year. If you've ever lived in a cold climate, you might understand this. My kids do this all the time, and I remember I used to do this when I was young too. Is that anytime the weather gets above like 40, like it's so warm outside and you go out without a jacket and you start pulling out your sandals. I caught my 13-year-old wearing Birkenstocks. I was like, it's too cold for Birkenstocks. Go put some closed-toed shoes on. She's like, but it's so warm. I'm like, it's 42 degrees. It's only 10 degrees warmer than freezing. I said it feels like it's warm, and it is warmer, but it's not that warm yet. And I don't know, and maybe it's because I'm older now, but I don't do that anymore. I wear winter clothes, sweaters, coats, closed-toed shoes, boots as long as humanly possible. And then in May, I'm finally like, okay, fine. It's 75 degrees outside. I can leave the sweater at home. So my youngest is always running around. And like I told you, it's like 42 degrees. And for us, it's warm because it's been really cold earlier this winter. And so my youngest is going to school in short sleeves with no sweatshirt, no jacket, no sweater, no layer, just short sleeves. And so I'm having to force her, like she comes out to the car in the morning, I'm like, where's your jacket? I have one at school. I'm like, I don't believe that. Go back in and get a sweater or a jacket right now. You will have at least one more layer. So she trudges back in, upset, comes out, and then she does end up, like, they don't end up here at home. So I finally do have to tell her, like, I pick her up from school at the end of the day, and I'm not gonna be able to do this anymore pretty soon. It's like, okay, where are all your sweaters and jackets? Are they in your locker? Go grab them. You know, are they in your backpack? Where are they? So that we have them for the mornings when it's cold. Because, you know, by the afternoon when it's like 45, 50 degrees, nobody wants to be wearing a sweater. Nobody even thinks about bringing home what they took to school in the morning. You know, of course. I think just being aware of the fact that I usually go heavy on brows and cheeks, I feel like I did pretty good today. I might even need a touch more blush later, but I'm gonna have another sip and we'll get going again. Having been gone unexpectedly for about a week, a little more than a week this month, I didn't take my entire makeup bin with me. So the one thing I was missing was kind of colorful eyeshadow. The only eyeshadow I had with me was the M Cosmetics one, but I wanted to use the Peridot palette today. I put this in there, I was like, oh, that'd be fun to play with, and then I didn't get around to it, and then I left. So today is the day. I'm gonna start with the only matte shade in here in the crease. I would love to know what your favorite eyeshadow formulas are. I'm always looking for something that is gonna be easy, that doesn't need, like, I'm not wearing eyeshadow primer today. I would say 95% of the time, I'm not wearing eyeshadow primer. I have it. It's like right here on the desk in front of me and I never reach for it. The fact that I put on like a pore filling primer this morning was like miraculous. I was like, oh, maybe I should use some of that. And maybe if I left it in view, I would use it more frequently. But I'm always looking for a formula that doesn't need hand holding. I don't want to have to use primer. I don't want to have to use like a glitter glue. And that's the thing, is I like the Pat McGrath formula, but some of her special shades, if you do not have her Artistry Wand pen or a mixing medium, you're going to end up with sparkle all over your face. And that's not what I'm going for. I want something that is like beyond easy. And I feel like Viseart does that, Sydney Grace does that, M Cosmetics does that. Those are my probably three favorites, and I have a lot of those products in my collection. There's a darker olive khaki shade in here, and that's what I'm going to use in the outside corner. This is that emerald green shade. Oh, this is fun. This lighter green shade, I think, really is the one that reminds me of Peridot. I'm just going to place this on the inner third of the lid, and then we'll do a little blending. I'm going to take a minute to curl my lashes, throw on some mascara and liner, and I'll be right back. I've been trying to decide what lipstick to wear today. This one might be a little too bold, but maybe if I put it on gently, it won't be that big a deal. I haven't really used it a lot, and I want to use it more often. It's from Gucci. It's one of their sheer balm-like lipsticks. This is the shade Devotion, but it's kind of like a terracotta. So I don't want to go too strong here. I feel like this calls for a little more blush. Remember, I'm trying to not do too much of that, but we'll see where we end up. Oh, my hair is struggling today. That's all right. With curly hair, you just have to accept the day that you're given. I don't know that this lipstick is perfect for this eyeshadow. It probably would look a little bit better if I was wearing a more nude lipstick, but I love a bright color. And this one, I realize I haven't reached for enough since I bought it last spring during the Sephora VIP event. But I definitely want to put it in my purse and use it more because it feels good. It's so pretty and easy to, you know, it's sheer and balm-like. And you don't get a ton of color, you know, just one swipe. It's not like a full force, heavy duty matte lipstick. And then, you know, the more you share it around, you can really sheer it out. So I'm dropping this in my purse. Maybe I'll leave it in there for a couple of weeks and see if it becomes one of those things that I continually reach for. I like that I'm wearing a brighter eye. I don't normally do that. I tend to do better in more rosy or nude tones, but I definitely want to keep stretching myself. And I thought if I was wearing, you know, bright, colorful, maybe let's put some on the eyes as well. I would love to know what you're up to this week. Let me know how your week is going. Let me know what you have planned. Is there anything that's kind of new and interesting for you? Some changes that are coming? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching today. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you again soon.